Hello, everybody. We are live. Yes, I think I'm live. Let me just check this out real quick. All right, if you are here and you're able to talk and chat, feel free to ask questions, participate, because that makes this more fun. I am just pulling up a reference. So right now we are working on figure drawing, the female figure, and I have 7 more to do to get to 30. So we're doing a total of 30 figures with reference. And then we'll do 20 without reference. But we probably won't get to those 20 right now unless people join and talk, because that keeps me motivated, keeps me going. And if you are watching and you're not able to comment on YouTube, you could go to our Discord, which is linked below, and you can talk in the group chat on Discord, and we can do it through that as well. Yeah, 7 more. In fact, we have one person commenting on Discord as opposed to here. So I will be able to answer some questions or have some dialogue. Okay, let's get started. I always have to make sure there's no driver issues. Yep, looks like we're good. All right, and my touch is working too. So I don't know if any of you guys have had a Cintiq, but sometimes my touch like errors out. I don't know why. All right, this first one might be a little bit rusty. But as I've said before, the point of this is to kind of show everything so that you can see the good and the bad. Because eventually I want to be really good. And seeing the growth, I think, is really pretty useful, especially to people that are trying to learn and grow and get better. It's good to see someone else struggle and overcome, because that means you can too. Now, my references that I'm looking at for this are the Masters of Anatomy. Like it's like a comic reference book. It's actually really awesome. I wouldn't get the digital version. I would get the real book. The digital version has crazy like copyright protection on it. and to the point where I actually returned mine because I didn't like it. But the physical book is awesome. I would get that. It's really good for study. They have so many dynamic poses. And then we're using Rebel. And yes, we try to say God bless after every video because we want to give him glory. That's a question from Discord. Now I'm having to just do some interpretation here because some of the drawings that I'm looking at for a reference are essentially they are gestures. So he didn't figure everything out yet. They're kind of sketches, which makes me have to kind of figure some of it out. And I'm trying to use a construction method because it would be easier for me. It'd be easier for me not to use a construction method and just kind of use an observational method because I've taken life drawing before. But I'm trying not to do that. I want to use a construction method because that's how you can train yourself, in my opinion, to draw better from imagination. So that you can draw a figure doing anything you want and have it look believable. When do I plan to study anatomy? So my goal right now is, so I'm doing these. I did all these figure studies. Kind of starts a little more gestural, but it's really more of a figure study. I'm doing 30 of these, and these are from comic reference. Then I'm going to do 20 from imagination, and then I'm going to do the same thing again with 30 from photo reference. So that's going to look a little bit different, probably less dynamic, but more realistic. And then I'm going to do another set from imagination. And actually, correction. So I'm going to be doing, once I complete these 30 and then the 20 from imagination, that will complete a male and female set of 100. And I'm going to do all 100 again using real reference and then imagination again. After I'm done with that, I'm going to touch a few other topics and then go to anatomy. Like I'm going to very briefly touch a few topics like perspective and some other things just to kind of remind myself of some of the fundamentals quickly. And then we'll do very, very in-depth anatomy. Okay, I need to make this look like it's going back. And that curve right there is going to help make sure it looks like it's going back. All right, I'll loosen up as I get through these. The idea is to start off pretty loose, and obviously I'm getting too deep, kind of too hard-lined too quickly. And so when we do anatomy, we'll be doing everything, heads, every body part. We'll be doing everything and really trying to master every single aspect of the figure. And then we'll probably do some more figure studies after that to help put everything together into a finished piece. And the repetition is going to make us awesome. I feel like the picture I'm looking at, the waist is, he actually drew this too long, which is understandable. It's a quick study, so I'm going to have to adjust it in mine. I imagine he drew his faster than I'm drawing than mine. Yeah, exactly. more comments from Discord. So yeah, we'll be doing perspective and there's a few other things I want to very briefly cover. Like a tiny bit in color theory and some other stuff, like at a very high level, just to kind of remind us of some very basic stuff, but important stuff. And then, like I've described in some of my other videos, there's repetition built into what I'm doing. So I'm going to be repeating, but also delving deeper as I repeat. And hopefully between all of that, and along with challenges like this, I'm trying to do this challenge of all these figures. Between these challenges and all the study and everything, we should be doing some cool stuff. We'll also be doing some, eventually we'll be spacing in more projects. Because what's the point of doing nothing but studies, right? We want to do projects. Our own original work. So we'll start spacing that in too, but that'll come a little bit later because I want to get some of this first phase down. And then I will really start hitting projects. All right, we have a question of, should we do lumis heads before or after anatomy? That's a good question. I would at the very least learn how to do a very basic head, but I wouldn't necessarily focus on heads first. Like if you watch how I'm, like if you're doing a basic head, like be able to do like the most basic thing. Like you got a head, leave it like this. As you're doing your anatomy, if you want to throw a head, and if you're looking at a reference, you can kind of throw in where the eyes would fall quickly. Yeah, be with the ears there. But you don't need to master heads before doing anatomy. I would do the anatomy first, but I would do the basic construction like this, because really heads can go in extreme detail. Because like eventually I'm going to be doing a study of 100 heads. Okay, this does not look right. Like this is 100 figures. I'm going to be doing just 100 heads too. So that's like, you can really learn all the different ways that a head portrays itself with fat and wrinkles and age and dimensions and everything. It's very awesome, actually. It's so interesting. And you can tell so much about a person's life too. If their skin is dry and wrinkly or pampered and smooth or whatever, you can tell so much. So that's kind of an advanced topic. And I would learn the anatomy first before tackling that. But I would learn the basic anatomy. This head's not actually as correct as I'd like it to be. But I would be able to draw the most basic head and then do anatomy. Like be able to do the basic, like a basic shape. Because you don't need much just to learn the figure, as far as a very simple head. And then you can refine and learn it better later. That's what I would suggest. I don't know why I'm shading it with this. No, stop. Stop shading with the pencil. Okay. I'm going to be shading with watercolor. So if you don't know this program, it is Rebel. It is the best watercolor simulator out there. And I really like doing the shading with the watercolor as a broad application of shading. So we're going to do that. Yeah, Jay, I think that's a good idea. I think that's a good idea. Okay, let's see if I can actually do this this method that Finch likes so much. So he's drawing the, I'm still trying to learn how to do this, but he's trying to draw like the top part of the pectoral muscle. And then he does something where he brings the other line down here, and that would bring the shape of the chest for the female. Remember to think of these things as 3D objects. Mm-hmm. You can always erase later. It's okay to be a little messy. And that is as detailed as we're going to get, because I'm just trying to learn the figure, not draw bad drawings. Learn the figure so that we can draw awesome finished paintings later on. Yeah, I really like to harp on the drawing in 3D. It's so important. And it keeps your mind, like, you want to keep your mind thinking 3D. And over time it becomes easier and easier. So I'm just trying to get some of the basic, where the hairline is, so that I can add some flowing hair. Because we all know if they're flying, they have to have crazy, crazy hair. Be careful where you have overlaps. It really helps to identify what is in front of, what's in front and what's in back. Okay, we have a question of, is drawing three buildings in perspective help, like basic drawing 3D perspective? Does that help with the goals of learning how to draw people and everything? And just drawing in general. He wants to be a comic artist, and I would say absolutely yes. Part of learning how to draw in perspective is drawing in perspective and getting used to how it works. And the more you do it, even those really like architectural style drawings, you're still getting used to what 3D looks like and training your mind to think in terms of 3D. You just have to make sure you carry that over to your figures. Like how I try to construct this figure here, I'm trying to think in terms of 3D. And if you're paying attention, you'll see that I was doing that at like every step of the way. I'm trying to think of it like that. So you just want to make sure you carry it forward like that. I'm gonna make this leg longer. And be okay with making corrections. Don't be precious with your stuff. If it's wrong, fix it. Oh my gosh. I'm going to shade with watercolor, so I'm going to erase this. Just outline the basic shape. There you go. I still feel this leg looks too small. We're going to fix this. Okay, now I love adding these little things here because this is what David Finch does, and he's a great comic book artist. And it just helps to. I like to. I mean, you'll notice I do this and try to do this in all of them, but I love how it helps me to, again, imagine the 3D nature of the shape because it kind of tells me where the knee goes, the angle of the knee. Very helpful. All right, let's add some shade to this. This is where the figure suddenly pops. Okay, this is where I always have to be careful because in this guy's rough sketches that I'm kind of looking at, he is not trying to draw accurate shading. He's trying to design it for his design purposes. He's just trying to understand the figure. So he'll shade something that's going back in space more because it's going back in space, and that just helps him to visualize it. And it's not meant to be a finished drawing, so he's not trying to do perfect shading. Oh my gosh, that's a big leg, huh? I just feel like I have to fix this leg a bit. Okay, I'm departing more from the reference because I feel like I need to make it look like this leg's going back properly. And the reference is just a tool. Use it as a tool. I wonder. Church Shepherd, are you a real person or are you a bot? Because it looks like you're a bot. I think I might have to delete the spam here. I suppose that's one good thing. That's a good thing that Twitch does, is that there's not as much of a delay and there's not as much it's not as much spam. I'm being asked if I want to test out the delay on this. I don't know if it's really going to help right now because I think there's always a delay on YouTube, as far as I know. And I just kind of have to live with it. As long as we're all aware of it, we can work around it. All right, now we let the water dry magically. Somewhat, anyways. I kind of messed it up because I switched tools or something, and I kind of lost I guess the wetness. I'm still learning a lot about this program, so I'm just gonna blend some of this to make it look better. Okay, that's good enough. Let me go ban this person who's spamming. Mm. Yeah, maybe we should. I'll have to do some research on how to best test the delay, and then maybe do some research on what is the proper, or what's the normal that people experience. Maybe it would be useful if I got a faster internet, huh? But it's perfect on. See, it's like no delay on Twitch. It's like instant. That's why I think, is this just YouTube? All right, we're gonna do a quick test real fast. When? Okay, let's see how long that takes. We're seeing how long the delay is before the viewer actually sees or hears my message. But it's like instant on Twitch, so I don't think it's me. I think it's just the way YouTube works. And I've seen other streamers where there's a huge delay, and they have to struggle through that. And that's where they'll have people, moderators, saving questions, and that way the moderator's asking questions, so then they can instantly reply. All right, so we are at a delay of 32 seconds. What number is this? 24. We got to hurry it up, huh? Yeah, Twitch has like almost no delay. It really is quite nice for that. I want viewers to talk with. I want to have a conversation. I want to be able to help give advice and things like that. I get a lot of joy in helping people. All right, I've got to move these heads. I'll save them for now, though. like this figure though. If you haven't tried this program out, I highly recommend it. One of these days, I'm going to put like an affiliate link in the bottom because I'm very happy to recommend this program because I use it all the time. All right, let's find another reference. Want to make sure I didn't choose any of these references already. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm just going to keep posting and I'll start getting viewers and stuff. People that like to see someone struggle and learn and give advice and get advice and whatever. But I'm not going to be posting as much original work yet, other than these studies, until I get a little bit farther along through my studies, and then I'll start really doing original projects and posting that and telling people to follow me and all that. Come check out my YouTube and my Discord so we can talk and help solve problems with art. And if you are new, if you are watching this and you are new to, or maybe recently returned to artwork, I have several videos that might be of service to you and that discuss how to get it back into your artwork, how to get back into and reach your goals. Nice. Well, I appreciate the faith. I appreciate the faith in that. That's awesome. You know, it's kind of funny. Sometimes the really crazy poses are actually easier than the really static poses. All right, I've got to get more gestural with this. Let's get a little more sloppy and then we can refine it. Let's move faster. And use these construction techniques that we're learning from Finch. One thing I really love about this program is that the pencil goes like this. So as you tilt your real brush, like your Cintiq or whatever, it changes the shape of the brush. I absolutely love it. In a lot of ways, they're trying to mimic a real pencil, and in so many ways, it feels like using a real pencil. I really love it. Yeah, I like those techniques of breaking up the the body into like triangles or whatever, things like that. At the same time, I feel like I need to, like, I might actually go back and redo the those basic building blocks. I might actually go back and redo some of that stuff with Finch's videos because he really breaks it down so nice. Now that I've done more study, I'll be able to maybe apply it better. Oh my gosh, we're gonna make this bigger, much bigger. So I was too stiff when I started this, the top of this. I feel like I'm gonna regret it because I want to have this be going up like that. More mistakes in the beginning means more corrections later, so try to get it right. Or be so loose that you're able to quickly adjust it. All right, we're going to go with that. I'm trying to imagine where the elbow would fall and if it would be moving in an arc upward, you know, we can get the approximate location, assuming it was straight on its side. If it's going backwards, then that's also going to affect. Oh, did you hear that? That's my dog huffing and puffing over there. Just make sure we don't make this too long. I wish I could do this in real life where it's like with the click of a button, you can change it to eraser with the same tool that you're using, which is really cool. Let's turn touch off since I'm messing that up. Oh my gosh, I don't like that. Art struggles, thumbs. Simplify it down somehow. There you go. I'm happy with that. Yeah, that's a really good picture that he did. And just there in the Hampton book. So if you don't have an anatomy book, one pretty decent one is Michael Hampton, which I don't actually have that book. I'm not actually using that reference, but it looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. One of these days, maybe I'll have to do a review over some of their like an actual review over the resources. I know we have a video discussing like planning a lesson plan, but we don't actually discuss what's a good resource and what's not. That would be kind of useful. I know I like those kind of videos. I do feel like this arm on the left, her right arm, this one, it's a little bit too long. Maybe if this would be arcing down, maybe it's just right. It just feels, maybe it's just the hand, but it feels a little big. I don't know. I also don't want to draw it again. So what do you think? Do I draw it again? All right, let's think of this head here. Yeah. I think Hampton is a great place to start, and frankly, Bridgman is a pretty good one to do after that. Bridgman goes in some really good concepts, but I've heard other artists say it's good to study Bridgman, perhaps when you're a little more knowledgeable, and I think they have a point. I really do. I'm trying to imagine this head looking up. This is part of the struggle, especially this neck right here, trying to make it look right. I think that looks better. I think I'm gonna have to kick my dog out of my bedroom. He wants to go play. And sadly, my door is shut, so he cannot leave. Looks okay. Now I'm trying to do the same process that David Finch has, where he draws the figure, just like a basic figure, and then he adds on the chest after the fact, once he has the figure looking good. I may still go back and adjust the arms a bit, but for now. I'll be right back. I'm going to let my dog out. All right, we are back. My dog is happily outside. Just clean up some of this mess here. I'm trying to imagine these going around the rib cage, kind of falling to the side a little bit, because that's what would happen. Of course, I'm looking at a comic reference, so it's not the most realistic already. I'm just too dark with these lines. There you go. That's better. Really helps to try to think in 3D. You just can't state that enough. The more you can train yourself to really think in 3D, the better. Mm. To be honest, I don't think I would do that many drawings of perspective um, before getting back to the figure. One of the commenters is saying, many days of perspective, like city drawing, and I'm not sure if that is necessary at this point. Yeah, the arm just looks massive. I'm gonna cut it, which means I gotta redraw it because I'm trying not to do the cut and paste. I'm trying to draw it because I want to be a good draftsman, which means I gotta do it again. But I guess that's twice the practice, right? Hello. Welcome to the chat, Mrs. Lilybeth. We are struggling through figure drawing. if you want to practice perspective and you wanted to say like do like 30 days of perspective, like that is, there's nothing wrong with that. That's pretty cool. What I would highly suggest doing though, highly suggest, is at least try to do some from imagination. You know, play with the buildings, put them at different angles and stuff. Play with boxes. Even you don't even have to do a full building. You can do boxes and do it from every angle that you can possibly think of. In addition to doing like buildings and other things, it's good to study from real life, but there's a reason why I'm trying to do these from study, and then I'm also trying to do them from imagination. That's where I get to see how bad I am. You know, it's like, oh, I need to fix this, and this. That's when you do it from imagination. In fact, I almost want to draw this figure again because I feel like drawing this one once gave me a much better understanding of what I should have done. What I should have did. There's a lot more dynamic motion in this body than what I put into it. If only watercolor was this easy in real life. And when you do it from imagination, do not be surprised if it's way harder than when you're doing it from reference, because it should be harder. And it may look wrong, but that's exactly why you're doing it. Then you go back and do more studies from real life or from reference, and now you can be a little more prepared in what to study to get better. You can see where you're not quite getting it. All right, I actually think this figure is kind of a failure from what I was hoping to do. So, what I think I'm going to do is maybe try to do a new one on top. Like if I were to erase this down by 50% and then try to see if I can fix it. Jay, I can't wait to see where you are in a year. It's going to be amazing to see where you are in a year. It's going to be awesome. I think you'll be surprised at how much growth you have. Just don't throw away your early stuff, even if you don't like it. Even if you think you made a mistake or whatever, keep it. You're going to want to look back at it so that you can realize how much you've grown. Okay, this is more flat. See, I think the chest is far more tilted than I was doing. Yes, even the stuff I have, man, I have pictures from when I was like a little kid, and it's awesome. It's awesome now because I've been able to grow so much since then. It's really cool to see. Or watching my kids, like they've gotten so much better. It's crazy how much better they are. And you wouldn't be able to know if we didn't keep all those old pictures. I'm not doing massive changes here. I'm just doing a little bit, and I think it's going to make it better. Oh, okay. You're going to take education for in your schooling for art related stuff. You may find that you are way advanced compared to your peers because you're putting in so much effort. You're going to end up being one of the top people. And your teachers may possibly not be able to help you that much, quite frankly. At that grade, they might not be able to help you. But they may. It depends. It really depends. Some of my teachers were actually pretty good, but not necessarily in the things I wanted to do. And so I would really have to try to see what is it that I want to learn from them specifically, because they do have things to teach. The part that I didn't like at that grade, it was like they make you do artwork that I just didn't want to do. Although some of that, honestly, if I would have known what could be done with some of these mediums, um, like they made us do like a watercolor, painting or something, and I was like, this is dumb. And now, if only I could tell myself, like I could kick myself in the butt and tell myself to give it everything I got because watercolor is cooler than I gave it credit. I wish I could do that because it really is cool. It's incredibly hard, but also very cool. Just a reminder, if you are watching and you cannot actually respond for some reason, you can always join the Discord and join the conversation there. And the Discord link is below. What's funny, so when I was in high school trying to learn artwork, we actually had a teacher who liked comic book artwork. He was actually taking a course. Oh my gosh, this is how long ago this was. It's such a long time. He was in a drawing course that was by mail. You had to draw it and then send it by mail to the company, and they're professional comic book artists, and then they would critique your work and send it back. And how crazy is that, huh? We're talking old school stuff. And that was the teacher I mentioned that I misunderstood and I didn't take any more of his classes, and I'm still kicking myself for that because he really was trying to do a good job. and he was really cool. So like I still talked to him personally. I just didn't take his classes. So he was still a cool teacher, and I so wish I took more of his stuff because he liked the kind of artwork that I liked. It's like the foolishness of youth. I wonder what happened to him. I wonder if he's still teaching there. That would be pretty cool to catch up with him. See how he's navigating the world these days. See, I'm drastically shortening up these arms. I feel like these arms are so long, and they shouldn't be. Yeah, thanks. They're telling me to feel bad. You deserve it. Feel bad. I think it's funny because that's the artwork I've been waiting for since I was in literally. I remember in sixth grade they were making us do artwork, and I was like, I was so mad because like it's like teacher, I love artwork. I just don't like what you're making us do. Like this stuff is so easy and it's so boring, and it holds no interest for me at all. I probably wasn't her best student either, just because it wasn't in any way interesting. But we were forced to do it because it was her interest. Thankfully, I don't remember her name, so I can't ever say who it is because I don't remember her name. But how ironic. I go from that to having a teacher that does exactly what I want, and then I stupidly don't take any more classes from him. In fact, I bet if I would have stayed, he would have let me do even more of what I wanted to do. Like I probably could have talked him into it because he would have known I like that would have helped my development in a way that it wouldn't have helped the other people. Okay, the changes are small, but I think I'm liking this a lot better. I have had classes in like college. I took a few classes. I didn't take a lot. I kind of took the same class over and over again, actually. So I didn't want to go for a degree. I was taking it on the side, and for some of those classes, like yeah, just do what you want. You kind of you've already been through this. Just do what you want and keep working, keep getting better, and that was nice. I really need to pull this leg in because it needs to be going backwards and make it go behind. think the hair I can just kind of keep the same. I'm okay with that. All right, let's do some quick shading. Oh, before I start, let me pause. This program tries to dry the water and let it run across the page. So I want to pause that, put it all down, and then let it do it. Okay, I have to mute. I'm being spammed on Facebook. I must mute. So if you are just joining in, yes, I am. Just asked another question. So yes, I am talking to people on Discord, and I'm also talking in chat here on YouTube. If you are talking in chat on YouTube, so I welcome anyone who wants to talk here. And I love the discussion. I love the questions and stories and things like that. So if you are here, please speak up. Let's get to know each other. Ask questions. Tell me where you are. Where are you in your artistic journey? Or are you just kind of watching to observe what it's like to struggle as an artist? Did you have to give up your artistic dreams at some point, or did you realize that at some point that you should have been working on your art and you kind of weren't doing it? I'd love to hear your story. And if you're new here and you want to grow, you realize that you need to be doing artwork, go check out my videos because I talk about that and I give ideas of how to get started. All right, in a second here, we are going to move these apart and see, was it worth redrawing this character? Did I make it look any better? If I did this right, we have two drawings now. Let's move this over. All right, let's see. I actually I do like certain pieces of it better. Although the arms are too short now. Oh no. Maybe. I think I fixed certain things, but I didn't fix everything. But that's okay. That's why we study. We'll get better. We're going to label this 25. 25A and 25B because I'm not going to count these as two different studies. She lost her number. All right, we have a question. Being personally organized as an artist is very important, don't you think? What exactly do you mean when you say personally organized? It's like I'm playing Tetris right now. Oh, yeah, okay. So the question is, do you think it's personally being organized as an artist is very important from the point of view of, studying gesture before doing anatomy and tracking your progress and having a plan and things like that? I think it is incredibly, incredibly useful to have some kind of plan, to have some kind of something to track your progress. Yes, I think it's incredibly important. One of the reasons why, that's such a good question. I'm glad you asked. One of the reasons why is that it can be very demoralizing as an artist in that you don't know how far you've come. Like you might think, I mean, there's a reason why it's like I tell my kids, I've always told them, keep your drawings. And of course, they don't always do that, but I tell them to keep their drawings so that years later they can take a look at it and realize, wow, I've actually come a long way. Because something that doesn't seem to ever go away with your artwork is that it feels hard, or like it feels like you feel like you could have done better. And because growth is slow, it doesn't happen overnight, like zero to hero overnight. It takes a while. It's hard to track that progress. It's like, um, if you're growing, like an inch a year, you don't really notice that you're growing until suddenly it's like 2 inches, and it's like all of a sudden it clicks. Wait a second, there's 2 inches there. I've grown. Or if you someday have kids, that it's the same way. It's like you don't realize they're growing, and all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, you're looking like a teenager. What happened? You don't. You just. It's hard to track because it's slow, and artistic growth is like that. It's slow, and so having some kind of mechanism to track that you are making progress, that you're making progress on your plan, which the plan leads to the ultimate goal of doing whatever it is you want to do with artwork. That has a feeling of progress. And then being able to go back and compare what you're doing now to what you did, last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Hopefully, if you're putting in the work every day, or every week, or however often you can. If you're putting in routine work, then you should be seeing growth. As long as you're actually trying to learn new things, because you could get stuck in a situation where you are practicing what you already know or practicing what you already do, even if it's wrong, and then you're just practicing errors, but you're not actually learning and growing and getting better. You're just practicing the same old thing. That's not how you grow. And so as long as you're actually studying, you should see growth. And if you're keeping track of your old work and everything, it can be extremely motivating to go back and look and see where you've come. Okay, this is an exciting pose. I'm excited for this one. Let's see. I'm running out of drawing space though. I'm going to try to take a much looser approach this time, just because. Sometimes when I draw with pencil, I like to get really scribbly. I actually first kind of learned the scribble method from How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. I want to say they have one of Thor and some lady. I can't remember if it was Wonder Woman or someone else. I want to say it was someone else, but I just did all these scribbles until it looked right. Okay, you finished your perspective plan, so now you got a plan. That's why you brought up that question. It's important to plan. Okay, cool. That leg might be too small, but we'll see. I think this rib cage is too high. That's why I like the scribble method. It's very easy to correct it when everything's a scribble. Maybe it would be cool to do a little document like a lesson plan for the different types of subjects. We could probably put that in the Discord. That'd be kind of cool. Okay, this actually. It's like a female Hulk smash, although not the Hulk. Yeah, I wish we didn't have to do our job tomorrow. We had that last week. We had a day off because Martin Luther King Day, and that was pretty cool. So hopefully you can use your time off and get some stuff done. Trying to make sure I'm getting the hairline about approximately where it should be. Something like that. There's a lot of hair. Okay, there's some things I like about it, some things I don't. Now we're gonna go on top of this and we're going to fix a whole bunch of stuff because there's a lot wrong with this. And there's some things good and some things really bad. That's why we do it though. Hmm. So you have a goal of doing 2 figure drawings tomorrow. You're talking the same as what you did on when you did Spider-Man recently, like that level of finish? Yeah, good luck. Once you master it, it'll be really nice. So I'm doing a second pass over this in order to correct some things. I definitely had some problems here. Hopefully I'll have a better drawing. Yeah, it's so much fun when you can really draw from imagination, though, like the whole figure. Really nice. It's like freedom, anything you can imagine. And that is a big reason why I'm going back and doing this again, because I can easily draw from reference. I can take the time, I can make it look right and all that. But I'm trying to approach it again, to approach it in a better way, better method. We have a question about commissions. So, ironically, a lot of the commissions I've done have been like a digital painting, and then I actually sell them a print of the digital painting. And sometimes I've made the print, like I've gone and had it printed myself, and then delivered it to them in person. And sometimes it's like a very emotional piece because it's like a special gift for someone or something like that, and that's super cool. And sometimes I cry and it gets all emotional. It's amazing. So I've hand delivered them. Other times I've actually, the only times I've shipped it is when it was printed by a printing warehouse, like a print shop, and then they shipped it directly to the client. I always get paid half up front before I start anything on the commission. Like I don't do little test things like, hey, can you draw this to make sure you're the right style, or any of that kind of stuff. Like, nope. I have a portfolio. You can see it, so you can see the style. There's no trials. If you want to commission something, you can look at my portfolio that I already have. That's what you're going to get, something like that. And so they pay half up front, and you don't start working on it until you get half up front. Now, ideally, you would also have some kind of simple contract of some kind, and that, I mean, could get as complex as you need it to be. For example, if you're working for a company, there'd be a thing called like a kill fee, as in if they decide not to continue with your work and they want to have you stop early and just cancel it, they would still pay a fee of some kind because they were taking your time, you know. Yeah, I would say keep studying, because eventually you're going to realize that when you get good enough, people are asking you, hey, can you paint this for me? And then you're probably at a level where you can start taking commissions. Um, Now, the problem you're going to run into, there's two problems as a growing artist. You're going to get some people that just want you to do something for free, especially family members. They're going to say, "Can you do this for free?" And it's like, well, sometimes I draw pictures of family for free, but normally that's because I chose to. Like I wanted to, gift them a surprise gift, or maybe I just needed to study and I just chose to study a family member's portrait or something. And that's all cool. I don't mind giving that to them as a gift. But if you're trying to do this as a business and they want to take your time and have you do something because you're doing it as a business, then you should be charging something. I don't charge the same to family as I would to anyone else. I have like a cheaper rate for family. But even that sometimes is too much for them. And that's frankly is okay, because you need to be you need to realize that you are doing a business. So you need to be actually doing work that pays. Otherwise, you're not actually doing a business, you're doing a hobby. Because you can't make a living off of good wishes. And you'll get people saying, "Oh, please, please do this for me." You'll get exposure. Like I had someone um, off, like they wanted me to do a children's book, and they didn't really want to pay. They wanted me to do several illustrations, including the book cover. And I'm thinking like that's actually quite a bit of work. Like that's a lot of work. That's not even like it's not even a little bit. That's a lot of work. I'm not going to do that just to get some kind of quote unquote exposure. On a especially when the artist when the person doing it is also just another person who's trying to write a book for the first time. It's like that's not going to get you exposure as an artist. It's just doing work for free, and you're not really going to make anything on it. But you are going to put a lot of work into it. So unless for some reason you feel like super motivated, like you just want to do it for your own personal growth, like okay, if you want to do it for your growth, that's up to you. But if you want to actually be doing a business and you're already skilled enough, you need to be doing paid jobs. I actually think I need to bring this arm down a tad. Sadly, that means I have to redraw this. Oh man, you turned down a commission for doing anime. That's awesome. Sorry to any anime lovers out there. I am not. I'm just. There are some anime shows that I liked. Very little. Very minimal. Mostly the ones that have like robots. I like some of the robot shows, but I would turn down an anime commission as well. It's not what I do. It's not what I study. It's not what I want to do. And that's a big thing. If you don't want to do that kind of work, unless you're just trying to be nice to someone for some reason, like you want to give someone a birthday gift, not like I've heard of stories, and I forget who told me this, but it's like someone asked them to draw a picture so that they could give it to someone else as a gift, and they wanted to do it for free, and it's like, what? You want me to give you a drawing for free so that you can give it as a gift to somebody else? That's crazy. That's crazy. No. Like that's a hard no. If you want to give it, if you're the one doing the drawing and you're doing it as a gift, that's completely different because you're doing it of your own free will. You're choosing to do it. Yeah, I'm so glad I brought the arm down. That was good. All right, I'm gonna try to make this head bigger. So I felt like I made it too small once I had all the hair done and everything. Maybe something like that. So the hair needs to be with that hairline. And the eyes need to be higher up as well. Maybe. This guy has a really huge arc in how he did this. Like she's really kind of looking down, so it's like a strong arc. I really should just rotate this page, huh? That's a benefit of drawing on paper sometimes. It's easier to do the rotations. Yeah, I like that. I'm really happy with that. That's now you can see the difference in a second here. How ugly that looks, but it was still a fun scribble. Now the refined version. Much better. All right, let's do some quick shading. Watercolor brush. Throw it down some water with our bell. Then we get a watch the paint dry. Technically gray paint. '26. Cool. I like that. That was my chair, by the way. It squeaks. It squeaks a lot. So I am going to find a new reference real fast, and we will get started on another one. I still feel ready to go. And if you're new here, again, we are drawing a series of figure drawings using reference, trying to practice dynamic figure drawing. I'm trying to get myself to start a little more gestural in approach, but then refine it to a little bit of a more refined figure drawing. Once we get through these, we will, not in this stream, but eventually, once we get through these 30, we will go back and do a whole bunch from imagination. That's where it's going to be more difficult. It's going to show us where we're struggling, and we can go back and study again. And we'll go back and study from photo reference this time, because we're using comic reference right now because it's more dynamic. And we'll get to hopefully correct some of the areas we're struggling with. And if you are here and you want to have a conversation, you can do so through YouTube, or you can hop in the Discord. There's a link in the description below, and we can have some conversation while we draw. I am going to take a real quick break though to get some water, and then we will continue. So I don't really have a proper thing here. I'm just going to do this. Be right back for more figures. All right, just real quick, gotta get some water. I will be right back. All right, we are back. If you are in chat, please introduce yourself. And let's see. Shall we do all 30 of these today? You don't got many left. I only got 4 figures. I suppose if I just hurry up and do them faster, huh? Yeah, Jay, I don't know if we can really get the connection to be much faster. I just don't know. I'm gonna have to check into it. We discovered there's a good over a 30-second lag from when I see a question and I respond, and then they hear my response. Whereas on Twitch, it's like a no delay. So that's interesting. Oh, cool. We got a new subscriber. Don't know who it is, but welcome. That's awesome. All right, let's move this figure out of the way so we can do a few more. You know, that is actually a really important thing to, or it reminds me of something important anyways. The idea of kind of goes back to what we were talking about before, which is kind of having a plan and tracking your progress. It's also about just kind of getting stuff done, because if you're not getting stuff done, it just feels like you're not making any progress. And that can be a little bit demoralizing. All right, I do need to find another reference real fast. You know, Jay, especially since you want to do comic art, this is a really, really good reference. This book, The Masters of Anatomy. So many good poses. I mean, I suppose you could find the same kind of information looking at actual comics, but if you like the style of work, this is like thousands and thousands of drawings or something. I don't know how many it is. It's a lot. Yeah, I'm being asked how do I know who subscribed? And unlike Twitch, you don't get a notification for that. So I know on Twitch, like you get a little pop up, or you get some there's some kind of thing that happens when someone subscribes, and that's not how it works on YouTube. Especially because you don't know, like, I mean, they could have subscribed on some other video and everything, so we just don't know. And actually, on my end, I can see some people that subscribed, but it depends on their settings. Like some people hide their subscriptions. In fact, I think I do. I don't know. I think I do. And so out of the number of subscribers that I have, I think I can only see like 10, like I can only see who they are. All right. This is number 26. 27. This is number 27. I'm gonna zoom in. I need more space, so let's just zoom in. Isn't that how you wish real life would work? You could just zoom in and have more space. So, going back to your question a little bit about commissions, the best thing I can recommend, like the first thing is don't start working on anything until you've received half your money up front. Unless you really, really trust the person. Like there have been some people that have a history, like they pay like really fast. And so I actually trust because we have a history and I know them. They've commissioned a few paintings, and they're always quick to pay. And so some people I do kind of trust, but usually as a rule, you just don't. You just make it a policy. That way you're treating everyone the same and you don't start working until they pay you half up front. And if you start getting a lot of commissions, I would have some kind of contract. That way there's no some kind of agreement. Even if it's like, yeah, buy it through the website, and when they buy it, they have to agree to the terms and conditions. Like somehow you have to have something that protects you legally. And then it also you want to set expectations because you don't want to be in a situation where the client just wants hundreds and hundreds of changes or something. Like if you allow them, if you just say, yeah, we'll change it until you're happy. Well, there have been horror stories where that kind of never ends, or they never become happy, and so it's always considered never quite finished. I've even seen stories of where people are. I feel like I'm just horribly doing this right now. Um, People are working on these commissions and the client never gives a final approval, so they never actually pay them the final amount, and then they took the latest update, had some other artist finish it for a really, really small fee. They never paid the original artist all the money, and because they never actually gave final approval of the picture. And of course, like that's what they're doing is unethical, and most likely they could get sued for what they're doing, but they try to do these things anyways. And you would think people wouldn't do that, but this kind of stuff happens. And maybe some people kind of justify it. Like that's one reason I'm very against uh, stealing. I say stealing books off the internet and stuff. Like if you want it, buy it. If you want it, buy it, because otherwise you're kind of stealing that person's work or that person's property. There's a legal way to do it, and I highly suggest doing it that way. I feel like I'm losing it right now, as far as getting this pose is kicking my butt. I don't understand the spam on YouTube. Like these accounts get on and they spam these weird messages that like they don't even mean anything. I don't understand it. Just like random gibberish. Yeah, the story with ZHC where he did commissions and never got paid because quote unquote they didn't have the money. Really, they didn't have the money in the first place, probably. That's why you get paid up front. Oh, this is just kicking my butt. I'm not happy with this one. I feel like I need to start this one again. It's just something's not clicking with me on this pose. I swear if you follow this channel, you're going to get the good and the bad, and hopefully with lots of dedication, it's going to become more and more good. But sometimes it's useful even to see the struggle. It's useful to see it. And to know that you're not alone. You're not alone in the struggle. Trying to go back to what I remember right now from David Finch and can kind of deconstruct in this pose a little bit because it is a little bit hard for me for some reason. I think I really got stuck because of the difficulty of the pose. I kind of got suckered into just drawing the outlines instead of thinking in 3D. I think that's part of the reason why this was a struggle for me. I need to think of the objects that I'm drawing and just make the objects looks right, even if I have to change the reference. Even if I have to do an underdrawing and draw on top of it, that is perfectly okay. I have a question. When do I plan on ending the stream? I don't really have a plan, to be honest. I'm just going to keep going until I'm done, or until I just can't draw anymore. But I can't go too much longer because I do have to get ready for work and all that, sadly. Okay, this would be a problem I have with the Bern Hogarth book. It's like when he draws the muscles, he doesn't take into account sometimes where they're overlapping, and they're like right here. This calf is squishing into the thigh, and it will change the shape, right? And I don't think Bern Hogarth's book actually does that, which is why I think it looks so artificial. And I've heard he's a great teacher, and his drawings are a certain way because he was trying to convey a certain thing. It's just like actually one of my art teachers in college when I did a life drawing class, he either knew him or he knew a teacher. He knew another teacher that actually studied underneath Bern Hogarth, and they said he was like a crazy, amazing, knowledgeable artist. But he taught for in a certain way for a reason, and I'm just not his target audience. I think I'm just not the right person to learn from him. I think his style looks kind of strange. If you were in his class, it would probably make a lot more sense because then you could understand the concept and then go draw it in your own style. That's the way I think of it. We have a question of did David Finch, he was an amazing comic book artist, did he study Bern Hogarth? I don't remember him saying that he did. And since he did give an explanation of what he studied, I think that means no, he did not. Or if he did, he didn't attribute anything to it, which means it wasn't worth mentioning. All right, somehow I've got to fit the head about right there. No, he from what I recall, he stressed the How to Draw Comics a Marvel Way, which is a fantastic book, and then Bridgman and Loomis for Heads. And then any book for anatomy. He did say to do anatomy before Bridgman. But for him, it was like just anything you can to study anatomy. Like for all it mattered, you could find diagrams online and just remember or memorize the muscles and be able to draw the muscles from different sides, like points of view. Just memorize it and then go into figure drawing with Bridgman. That's what he suggested. So regardless of what he actually did, it's probably pretty good advice. And I imagine he did look at other things, at least a little bit, because we all do. You know, where you kind of maybe flip through a book at the library or whatever. Like we're gonna look at other things, but I think those are what he really studied hard. Okay, this is looking so much better, I think. Uh-oh. No. Yeah, I'm much happier with this now. I think I messed up the leg, like the hips and the waist, but the correction is good. I'll delete the correction later. Okay, let's see. Okay, I do need to lengthen this arm. Maybe out here. It's not going backwards, it's just going up. I really like Finch's like how to draw the basic shapes. I really like how to draw the arms and everything because he kind of has a way of breaking it down that started to really help him make it make more sense to me. Which helps to draw from imagination because again, I could draw from reference for sure. But I feel like I got a lot better after watching his videos. Like at some point, it's going to be like, look at the the path is going to be, you know, look at how to draw Marvel comics, watch all of Finch's videos, study Bridgman. Maybe someday I'll be able to make that list. That would be quite cool, actually, if someone liked my stuff that much. Regardless, I'm certainly going to try to add to help people out. Oh my gosh, I'm old, man. I was just asked by in the Discord chat, when they're my age, are they going to be professional? Oh my goodness. If you're working as hard as you're working in the past month or so, you will be a professional way, way before my age. I know if I studied the way that you're studying now at your age, I would have been a professional without having to even go to college at all. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. See, I played too many games when I was a kid. I still drew, I was still known as an artist, but I played too many games. I should have drawn, even if I even drew half the time that I played games, even half, I think I could have been a professional coming out of high school. As long as I actually, did some focused studies like what my friend Jay here is trying to do. And that's where having a plan comes in handy. So if you are watching this and you go back to look at my other videos, I discuss how to have a plan. It's useful. You want to be effective in your studies. And if you are young and you have the time to study, why not do it? Because it does not get easier when you're older. You get more responsibilities, especially whether, I mean, it could be anything. It could be a dog, like you have pets, your job, your health, because you have to take care of your health too. It could be family, maybe whether you're taking care of family because they're older, or whether you have a family like a wife and kids of your own. Like, there's just obligations that happen, and they're good obligations. So take advantage of the time when you don't have those obligations. And you will thank yourself when you're older. Hmm. Yep, that's a good point. Can you, how to manage stress? That would actually be a good video topic if I want to do another of those videos. That's actually such an important topic, not just for an artist, but for everything. So I heard a statistic where it's like most heart attacks happen between on like Monday mornings between like 8 and 9 a.m. or something crazy. It's like right when people's job starts, that's when most heart attacks happen. So if you let too much stress get to you, it can literally kill you. I am really happy with that pose. It's like a fun pose. I better save this, huh? Wouldn't that be horrible? It's just like it crashes. Then I have to cut. Then I don't have 30 figures anymore and I got to do it all over again. Oh, let's pause that. Man, the lighting of this comic is, especially for these small little sketches, sometimes it makes me laugh because it's clearly not consistent. Like, I don't see how this guy shaded it like this on this picture. It's not consistent. You know what? Sorry, I'm like hitting my mic. I gotta stop that. All right, let's do let's do what he did, but then fix a little bit because I think I know what he did that makes it not realistic. Because he's trying to shade it like this where the light's coming from the left, which allows us to kind of lose this leg. Okay, that leg's going to be casting a shadow, so we can bring that. And maybe there's a little bit of blockage here from the other leg. I don't know. And then just along the bottom. So we're correcting that because he blocked out the entire leg. It's not correct lighting. Now it's coming from above, so we will have some here, some lighting. All right, let's assume that's roughly correct. We'll have some around here. Let's shade on this side of the form. The hair is going to be blocking at least some of this actually. And then the head's going to block some. No, it really helps to, what I'm struggling with is this guy is doing like he's doing shading, but it's not consistently applied. Or sometimes it's hard because he didn't like finish all the shading. And it really helps if you define the direction it's coming from first. Like my shading is coming from up here at a certain angle. I shouldn't probably do that in watercolor, huh? It's gonna melt. But if you can define where it's coming from, then it's very easy to put on the light. Like this would have light from the arm casting a shadow. All right, I think that is one more figure down. Cool. I actually did a lot of figures today. We actually started streaming on Twitch earlier before moving over here to YouTube, where the spam bots come. All right, I am being asked, how was high school for me? No, I wasn't nervous. It's just high school. It's all good. I'm sure there's a little bit of excitement, it's just new. But in the end, it's just school. Okay, I think I got my next pose. No, when I went to high school, like I was ready for it. It's all good. I don't know. I wasn't nervous. Was I nervous when I had to move out of my parents' house and find my own place? No, I wasn't nervous. Um, See, I don't think it's worth getting all worked up about things like that. Like recently, recently, like 2.5 years ago or something. I don't know. Time goes so fast. Um, I had to get a new job, and it's a little bit of an unknown. Of course, an unknown can be a little bit nervous, like can be nerve wracking. It's just an unknown. But if you're confident in who you are, you're confident in what you can do, then you move forward boldly in faith. The Bible says we're supposed to be bold. We're supposed to be bold as lions. And you can be humble, because that is how you learn. You be humble, but you can also be confident at the same time. Humble does not mean weak. In fact, I think humble, the true meaning of humble, is like a super strength, because it's a right mixture of being able to humble yourself to where you don't think you know everything, so you're able to learn, but confident enough to where you're willing to take action. And that's what we're supposed to be according to the Bible. And I take the Bible to heart. I really, really do. Not that I get it right every time, but I try. I really try. That is a cornerstone for me in my life, my walk through this life, is my faith. So if you don't like faith, this is the wrong channel, even though we don't try to make you believe this way. It's up to you to do your own belief. But it will come up from time to time. So that's just the way it's going to be. How long have we been streaming for? 2.5 hours. Wow. Goes fast, huh? I'm just having fun drawing pictures and chatting. Jay, are you still working on your? I know you said you made a plan. Are you actively working on your perspective stuff? Okay, this is. Okay, I really have to try to think of this coming out at you. So something like that, maybe. Three and a half hour stream. That's what I'm being asked for. Let's maybe I can do less if I can finish these pictures quicker, huh? Oh, okay. Yeah, if anyone thinks like you can't make a living as an artist, that is certainly not true. You can make a living as an artist, and you can make a good living, and you can make an amazing living if you put in the work. You have to put in the work. This does not come easy. In a lot of ways, I think it's one of the hardest things you can do because there's so much personal input into this. It's not just like, oh, it's a job. Like, no, if it's just a job, you probably picked the wrong one. Artwork is very personal, so every time you post something, maybe someone doesn't like it, it's hard sometimes to not take that personally. And so it's a very demanding job, or career or business, whatever it is you're doing. And learning how to take it personal, that's a skill you need to develop. And every artist needs to have that if they're going to be successful, like really successful. Although that's also true with other jobs too. My day job right now, if I couldn't take feedback, I would have bailed out of the industry ages ago. And I know people who sometimes can't take feedback and it doesn't go well for them. So you want to be able to cultivate that as an artist, have that confidence in yourself, and sometimes even distance your distance. Don't take your self-worth from your artwork. You know, if you failed in your artwork, it doesn't mean you are bad. It just means try again. That's all it means. And some people, they don't get that. They think, oh, I messed up. I'm such a worthless person or something. It's like, no, no, you're not. You are a valuable person. And it just means get up again, do it again, have resilience. But I've met many successful artists. And now with YouTube, it's so easy to find examples of successful artists. Like I saw a video of a guy, I never would have expected this, but this guy was selling uh, graphite pencil drawings that are kind of like a fine art style, but still, they're just pencil drawings. And he made a business out of it, like a real business. And he made a target market. Like he analyzed, he decided that the people that would kind of want to buy his work probably have some money and they probably work in an office, like a business. And so he figured his work specifically would be really, really good as like marketing it to like bosses who want to buy their employees gifts and things like that, or maybe put it on their back wall. And it's like, wow, what an amazing way to take a business approach to get to where he can draw what he wants to draw, because that's what he wanted to draw. He just had to find a way to make a living with it. And that dude, at the time of the interview many years ago, he was making $1 million a year. So how's that for a starving artist, right? $1 million a year, drawing exactly what he wanted to draw. He just had to find his target market. Yeah, be careful with using that as an example. There there's an example being used from YouTube of a guy that has like 25 million subscribers because of comic art. But the sad thing is, comic art is not what made him 25 million views. It's all the other things. He started with comic book art and then he kind of went away from that to other things. So if you're okay with doing that and doing more popular type, you know, pop culture or whatever things that attract a wider audience, but that's not comic book stuff. So far, I'm liking this pose. I just gotta get the arms. So he's a good example of you just want to be successful, period, like regardless. And hopefully he's doing exactly what he wants to do. I know he went away from comics, but hopefully it's exactly what he wants to do. So hopefully he's happy with that. Like, hopefully he didn't just like kind of sell out and do what he thinks makes money. I really truly hope he's pleased with the direction you took. Ooh, okay, so 5 million off his comic book art. Now that's impressive. And he is good at that. Like that is definitely impressive. And I still hope he is. Even with that, I hope he's happy with the change he's made. And actually, apparently, he has closer to 41 million subs if you take into account the different channels that he has. So he has like I think three or something different channels, and between all three of them, he has a just a ton of subscribers. It's pretty ridiculous. So he should be doing very, very well for himself. He's definitely successful. And artwork is how we got to that point, at least got started on that road. And he still does artistic things. He's just not doing comics anymore. He's just doing different stuff. Giveaways and things of that nature. He found a way to market himself. Just like other artists like Thomas Kincaid, he found a market painting log cabins in the wood, and he became multi millionaire just painting log cabins. So he was very, very smart with the, I guess, the marketing of that and the finding the business application of what he was doing. Oh, okay. So apparently this artist followed Mr. Beast's example, which honestly, I've never watched a Mr. Beast video. He's not my kind of thing that I like to watch. So I really don't know him, and frankly, I'll be honest, I don't plan on watching him. There's a reason why YouTube has not subscribed or has not suggested a single one of his videos to me, because I think it knows he's not my cup of tea. He's not my cup of tea. But if he is your cup of tea, I guess you could learn a lot from him. Actually, some of the people that I do follow, several people that I follow, do look at Mr. Beast's stuff for inspiration on how he does things. I just don't plan on doing that myself. That's where you got to know who you are. You got to know what kind of stuff that you personally want to do, because there is an audience for it. You just got to find your audience, and if it's a smaller audience, then you have to just accept that it's going to be a smaller audience. I don't. Oh yeah, they just reference like a whole bunch of different YouTubers and stuff. I'm assuming extremely popular YouTubers. I don't know a single one of those YouTubers that they mentioned. Again, if you're just coming in, where we also have people talking on Discord, which is there's a link in the chat or the description. I don't like that head. Don't be so stuck on your drawing that you're not willing to erase it and do it again. No, it's a good feeling when you're doing a figure study and you just feel like, yeah, I like that. Like I feel like I got it. I feel like I drew it right. It's a good feeling. And it's cool to see it kind of come alive, you know, to see the figure come alive and look like I actually have some life to it. It's fun. Question: does the How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way have hands or just head practice? As I recall, I don't have the book open at the moment, but as I recall, there are hands that you could copy in there, but the main focus, I believe, is heads as far as those two topics. Like it goes over heads and like the eye features and some of those eyes, mouths, nose, things like that. I don't believe it actually goes into detail on hands. Oh, there's my dog again. He has allergies right now, and so he's been huffing and puffing all day today, but it's just allergies. He gets it. All right, if there's one thing I could do to, if there's one thing I would do to this picture is probably make the legs a little bit longer. I feel like just a smidge would make it look more proportioned. And so we are going to just a little bit. See how fast we can just do a quick adjustment. Cool. When do I plan on checking out the Loomis Heads and Hands book? Well, let me think about that for a second. You know, I'll pull that up in a second here. Let me just do the shading on this, and then we'll see. Okay, this shading is definitely coming from the top. No, just do the whole face. Maybe I can undo some of the face there. All right, I'm just kind of messing this up here. I should not be doing this because I'm supposed to be going faster. I'm just gonna leave it like this. It's okay. Only two left. All right, let's see if I can actually pull this up for you. Will it let me change? Ta-da! Okay, so right now I am here. So I have my lesson plan pulled up. I am doing my gesture studies, which is really 100 gesture studies, 60 from study and 40 from imagination. And then I'm going to do the same thing again, but with photos instead of comic reference. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to hit on a few different topics, kind of at a high level. Well, actually, some are more in detail. Okay, but some of the higher level stuff, I'm going to go over some basic digital painting things, some basic uh, color. I mean, some of these videos I might just like watch. I'm not going to do any tests. Like, I won't be doing any homework, self-assigned homework with some of these because I already do know a lot of this. I'm just making sure I remind myself of anything. And as needed, I will go back and I will do painting practice and stuff. So I have a bunch of kind of basic stuff. And then I'm going to go through a color survival guide. So it'll just be an overview of color. And then another kind of little more in-depth painting package, like digital painting. And I'm hoping I can pick up just techniques to paint, but I don't know how much is going to really apply to me because I'm trying to use real world techniques. So I'm hoping maybe to pick up uses of color or uses of edges in paintings that I can mimic through a real media technique, even if they don't. So I don't know how long it's really going to take, but I'm going to touch on basically color. Then I'm going to go through cloth and drapery, folds, clothing. I'm going to go through a few examples of that and practice that. So the clothing kind of completes the figure, the basic figure, because all of this green stuff was figure, all this stuff. Or okay, most of this stuff. This was learning techniques, and then we have all figure stuff. And so going through the clothing kind of completes the basic thing so I can draw people clothed, which is what I want to do. Once I get through that, I'm going to do the basics of draw box, including the challenge. So I'll do the 250 box challenge and the 250 cylinder challenge. Then I'll go into some basics on composition. And I'll be looking at David Finch for that. Also drawing a negative space. A few more from some other people that I like. Composition with Modern Day James, and then understanding composition with Blender Guru. So again, this is like a high level look at composition. It's not going in depth. All of these, for the most part, with possibly the exception of perspective, but it's still pretty simple what we're doing, just boxes and cylinders. That's really simple. So I'm touching all of these at a simple level. After that, I'm going into anatomy. This is going to be a hardcore anatomy class. And it might take me 9 weeks. So it's going to take me a few months to do this. So that's going to be hardcore. And this is where things start getting more in depth for all of my training. And I'm going to go through the Proco Anatomy course. And if for some reason I feel I need to reference other books or other resources, I'll go and do so. But I'm mostly going to be using the Proco course. And after that, I go into Art Camp, which I have all of the Art Camp things. This is where if I wanted to give a lesson plan for someone else, I would need to find a different solution that doesn't cost as much, because these do cost money. And if I want to find a totally free solution, obviously I have to find something else, unless I just can't. And frankly, I don't know if I could suggest anything other than his the Art Camp 3 for environment painting, because I haven't seen anything that seems to compare to what he's doing. So I don't know, but this is going to be hardcore and going over many topics: composition, color studies, learn how to use photos, materials and edges, composition, color lighting, how to finish paintings. Like it's going to go over a lot of stuff, and this has lots of homework that is assigned through the art camp. So it's going to be pretty hardcore. And then once I get through those, which will take, it's going to take a few months to get through all this. Like it might take many months to get through this. I'm going to come back and touch on anatomy again from a point of view of the comic book artist because I like his style. And I want to take all the hardcore anatomy that I've learned and then reground myself in a really good style. And so I can combine that information. So that's my plan. After this, finally, after all of that, we go lumis. That's lumis. So that's when we're going to get to lumis. It's going to be several months. It may be half a year. It may be more. I don't know. It's going to be a while. And this is when I'm going to go through a head challenge where I'm going to be drawing like 100 heads and stuff. Head, hand, and foot challenge. So it's going to be good. This is where I go really in depth and try to master the head. Hopefully that helps. All right, I think due to the time, I think I'm gonna have to cut out. We are at 3 hours, which is pretty darn good. It's a lot of progress. We are so close to getting to the most challenging thing, which is going to be doing 20 from imagination and still have it look good. I'm kind of scared, but it's going to be fun. It is definitely going to be a challenge. So next time we will come back, finish the last two, and then we will start fresh and try to do 20 from imagination and struggle through that challenge. And it's going to be fun. So I hope you enjoyed. Last second reminder, if you liked it, if you like this video, if you got something from it, please subscribe. And if you know someone who might like this, please share it. That really helps. We're trying to grow the channel. And there's going to be a lot of live streams. So hopefully you want to come in and start actually talking and get some stuff going. Either talking through here or through Discord. So I'd love to hear from you. And with that, everybody, take care.